Have you ever looked in the mirror and paused, not because of a wrinkle or a flaw, but because something about your reflection felt different, like time was supposed to leave a mark, but somehow it didn't? People tell you, "You look so young." You smile. Maybe you say thank you, but deep down, you've always wondered if it's more than good skin or lucky genes. What if the glow they see isn't just physical? What if it's your soul showing through? If you've ever felt older inside than the years you've lived, if you carry a softness the world doesn't always understand, you're not alone. Because sometimes youth isn't preserved by products, it's protected by purpose, and the reasons you shine the way you do go far deeper than the surface. There's something sacred happening inside you, and today we're going to name it. Take a breath, let the outside world fade, and come back to that quiet place inside you. Thank you for being here. What comes next is what your heart has always known. They say some people just glow, and no one can quite explain it. Not a sparkle from makeup, not a tan, not even a good night's sleep. It's something quieter, something softer, like the light that filters through the blinds in the early morning, not trying to be seen, but impossible to ignore. If you've ever been told there's something about you, and you weren't sure what they meant, maybe, just maybe, this is it. This glow you carry, it's not just a compliment, it's a reflection, a mirror, showing the world a part of you that even you haven't fully named yet. You don't chase attention, you don't need to be the loudest in the room, and yet, somehow, people pause around you. They soften, they open up, not because of what you say, but because of what you hold. Your glow comes from the spaces you've survived, from the wounds that didn't make you bitter, and the dreams you've carried even when no one else believed in them. You've learned how to live in stillness even when the world around you was spinning, and that leaves a mark, not on your face, but on your presence. It's the kind of mark that time respects, the kind that age doesn't erase, because it wasn't made by years, but by meaning. Let's pause here. Not to explain, but to feel. Do you remember a moment when someone looked at you a little longer than usual, not with desire, but with recognition, as if something in you reminded them of something in themselves that they'd forgotten? That's the glow. It's not just light, it's memory. It's the energy of someone who has been through dark and still chose to be kind. Someone who carries silence, not as a weight, but as wisdom. And if you've ever felt that your calm confuses people, that your softness is mistaken for weakness, it's okay, because some things don't need to be explained. They just need to be honored. Your glow isn't loud. It doesn't beg to be noticed. It lives in the space between your words, in the way you make others feel safe without even trying. You listen differently. You speak slowly, not because you're unsure, but because you're careful. Careful with people's hearts, careful with your own. You've learned to carry light even in places where there was none. That's not luck. That's not coincidence. That is spiritual muscle. The quiet strength of someone who didn't shatter, but softened, who didn't escape the pain, but alchemized it, turned it into peace, turned it into presence, turned it into light. And now you walk differently, not with arrogance, but with a knowing, the kind of knowing that doesn't need to prove anything, because you've already seen enough, felt enough, healed enough, to understand you are not your timeline, you are not your age, you are not the years you've counted, you are the moments that counted you. So maybe, just maybe, your glow isn't what's surprising. Maybe what's surprising is how rare it is to see someone who's still gentle in a world that taught them not to be. That's why people pause when you enter a room. That's why they feel lighter when you speak. That's why they wonder what your secret is. But you already know, because it's not a secret, it's a sacred truth, and you've been living it this whole time. So the next time someone says, "You look amazing," You can smile, not out of vanity, but out of remembrance, because your glow isn't something you applied, it's something you earned, and it's not fading, because it was never skin deep, it was soul-born, and soul things don't age, and just like that, we move a little deeper, not away from the light, but toward its source. You're still here, still glowing, and there's so much more to remember. They call it an old soul. But maybe that's just another way of saying you've lived lifetimes inside a single life. There's something different about you. It's not in your clothes, not in your style. It's in your eyes that look like they've seen the world break and still believe it can be beautiful. You've never really fit the mold, have you? While others raced to be first, loudest, best, you stayed back, watched, felt, understood. You don't need to be taught compassion, you carry it like memory, as if somewhere deep inside you already knew how much people hurt before they ever told you. You've always had this quiet clarity, this sense that life is more than what's visible. You've walked into rooms and felt every vibration before a single word was spoken. That's not magic. That's not superstition. That is wisdom. Wisdom that doesn't come from books, but from being cracked open again and again, and choosing softness every time. Old souls don't age like others, because they don't live on the surface. They live in the currents beneath. They navigate by intuition, not trends. They grow deep, not just tall. And when your roots go that deep, nothing shallow can shake you. You don't react, you respond. You don't cling, you let go. There's a rhythm you trust that most people never hear, and because of that, you move slower, but you arrive fuller. People may not understand you. Some might even say you're too serious, too sensitive, too much. But here's the truth. You were never too anything. You were just tuned into a frequency most people haven't learned to hear yet. So you lived in quiet for a while. Let others speak. Let others rush. But in your silence, you were collecting, not things, not titles, but truths. And those truths show up in your presence. They make your energy feel safe, your voice feel soft, your face feel ageless. Because when you carry ancient wisdom with a modern smile, time has no grip on you. There's something ageless about peace, about surrender, about someone who has stopped fighting life and started flowing with it. Your old soul didn't come here to impress. It came here to witness, to hold, to heal. And that healing, it's visible. In the way you look at someone and really see them. In the way your laughter feels like something rare, like something remembered, not just expressed. Your body may walk through this decade, but your spirit knows centuries. Your bones remember stories. Your heart has loved in places your feet have never touched, and that spiritual gravity makes you magnetic, not flashy, magnetic, because the world is starving for depth. And when you arrive, quiet, real, rooted, you give others permission to exhale. You've become a mirror for the soul, a lighthouse without noise, a presence that says, you don't need to perform here, you're already enough. That's why they say you look young. It's not youth, it's timelessness, the kind that only comes when you're not pretending anymore. You've seen enough loss to know what matters. You've made peace with the shadows instead of chasing light, and that wholeness, it shows. So if you've ever wondered why you feel older than your age, why your eyes carry both grief and grace, it's because your soul has walked far, and now you're resting in truth. You're not behind. You're not late. You're just arriving in exactly the way an old soul does. One layer at a time, one breath at a time, one glow at a time. And as we sit in that, let the silence settle, because the next truth speaks in whispers only your spirit will recognize. Have you ever walked into a room and felt everything before anyone said anything? The heaviness in someone's smile, the tension behind their laugh, the sadness hiding in silence. You didn't mean to notice, you just do, like your body hears music other people call noise. That's not weakness, that's mystic sensitivity. It's the gift of feeling energy, even when it's not yours, of sensing the invisible and somehow carrying it gently. Yes, it's overwhelming sometimes. You've cried at moments others brushed off, felt lost in crowds, even when surrounded by people who love you. Needed quiet, not because you're fragile, but because your spirit absorbs too much. But here's the hidden truth. This deep sensitivity is one of your greatest strengths, because while others protect themselves by closing off, you stay open, even when it hurts, even when it costs. You don't numb, you notice, you feel the pulse underneath the surface, and in that awareness, there is power. Mystic sensitivity isn't about being emotional, it's about being awake to everything, to everyone. You read between the words, you hear what's not spoken, and because of that, you move differently. You avoid noise, not because you're antisocial, but because your inner world is already full. You crave nature, not because you're lonely, but because trees don't lie, waves don't pretend, and silence never betrays. You're drawn to the ocean, to moonlight, to soft spaces where the world stops asking you to be anything but real. And when you're in those places, you feel light again, not just emotionally, but physically. Because carrying everyone else's everything takes a toll, not just on your heart, but on your body. Mystic sensitives often look younger, not because they're untouched by life, but because they've learned to touch life gently. You don't hold grudges in your skin. You don't let resentment build behind your eyes. You breathe through pain. And somehow you stay soft, and that softness becomes glow. It shows in the way you move, in how you listen, in how others feel safe around you, even if they don't know why. It's your energy. It speaks before you do. But let's pause here, because I know this gift comes with exhaustion. There are days you feel like a sponge for suffering, moments when you wish you could turn it off, even nights when you wonder, is this sensitivity a blessing or a burden? Here's the answer. It's both, but only when unguarded. See, true mystic sensitivity isn't about drowning in emotion. It's about learning to ride the wave without becoming the ocean. It's about holding presence without holding pain, feeling fully and then releasing fully. You've been learning this, slowly, gracefully, quietly. You've stopped trying to fix everything and started letting things be. You no longer carry what isn't yours to hold, and that boundary, that choice is what keeps you vibrant. Because when you stop absorbing everything, your own light returns. Your own voice grows clearer. Your own rhythm starts to rise again like a song only you can hear. And people notice. They may not understand it, but they feel it. Your presence soothes. Your silence heals. Your sensitivity becomes a sanctuary. So don't hide it. Don't dim it. Don't apologize for needing space or craving solitude or choosing softness over survival. You are not too much. You are finely tuned, like an instrument for soul sound. And that resonance, that sacred frequency, is the reason your spirit feels so timeless. Your body follows your energy, and your energy, when free, aligned, and honored, creates beauty that no mirror can define. You weren't meant to harden. You were meant to transmit, to reflect, to absorb light, and send it back softer. So if you need more silence, take it. If you need more nature, seek it. If you need less noise, allow it. Because the world needs your sensitivity, not your burnout, and your glow, your grace, your gentle way of existing. It is sacred. Keep protecting it, keep feeling, keep flowing, because this depth you carry of this mystic awareness isn't something to manage, it's something to honor. And now, as the water settles, something even deeper begins to rise. The next truth is not about what you feel, but what you choose to keep and what you let go. You feel everything, not just your own pain, but everyone else's too. The friend who's quietly falling apart, The stranger whose eyes looked a little too tired, the family member who laughs but carries grief in their shoulders. You notice. You always notice. And for a long time, maybe you thought that meant you had to carry it all. That love meant holding on, even when it crushed you. That kindness meant saying yes, even when your soul whispered no. But something has shifted, hasn't it? Now you're learning. Empathy doesn't mean self-erasure. It means being a vessel, not a vault. There's a moment in every empath's life when they realize, I can feel deeply and without drowning. I can hold space and without holding pain. I can love you without losing me. And when that moment comes, it's not loud. It's not a grand breakthrough. It's quiet, like a soft yes echoing inside your chest after years of not again. You begin to choose what stays and what doesn't. You start breathing through people's emotions, not because you're cold, but because you've finally understood you're not the healer. You're the mirror, the witness, the reminder. And in that realization, you become lighter. You stop taking on what was never yours to keep. You stop making yourself small just to make others feel big. You stop bending until you break. And here's the beautiful part. When you release what isn't yours, your own light returns. You laugh more, smile without effort, sleep more deeply, feel more alive, because the heaviness that once weighed down your body, the tension in your shoulders, the tiredness in your bones, it starts to lift. And people notice. They see something different in you, not because you've become harder, but because you've become clearer. Your empathy hasn't dimmed, it's deepened. It no longer tries to rescue. It simply reflects, like moonlight on water, gentle, present, unafraid. You don't absorb the sadness anymore. You transform it. You don't carry the wound, you carry the wisdom, and in doing so, you keep your spirit vibrant, your face soft, your energy magnetic, because when you stop holding on to everything, your body relaxes. The weight leaves your eyes, your smile becomes real again, your glow returns. Empathy without boundaries ages us, but empathy with clarity, that heals us. It frees us. You become a place of peace in a world of panic, a breath of calm in the middle of someone else's storm, and you don't even need to say much. Your presence does the work. Your silence holds the space. Your stillness becomes sanctuary. So if you felt guilty for needing rest, for turning off your phone, for walking away from someone's drama that you can no longer fix, let that guilt go. You are not abandoning anyone. You are honoring everyone, starting with yourself. That's not selfish, that's sacred. Because when you are whole, you help others remember they can be too. So feel freely, love gently, release quickly. Don't hold what isn't yours. Don't let other people's shadows dim your own light. Empathy is not endurance. It's resonance, it's connection, not captivity. And when you live that way, your body breathes easier, your spirit expands, your beauty becomes unmistakable, because there's nothing more radiant than someone who has learned to stay open and stay free. So if you're someone who feels the world deeply, but is learning to stop carrying it alone, know this: your heart is not too much, your compassion is not a weakness, and your glow is not an accident. It is the natural result of a soul that loves wisely. And now, as your breath slows and your shoulders drop, we step even deeper. What happens when you stop reacting and start witnessing? When you become the calm in the storm? That's what comes next. There's something quiet about you, but it's not emptiness, it's presence, full, steady, unshakable. You've become someone who doesn't flinch at chaos anymore, someone who pauses when others panic, who watches when others react, who waits until the noise clears and the truth returns. That stillness, it's not learned from books. It's born in the fire. You didn't always have it. You earned it. One heartbreak, one disappointment, one release at a time. Now you're not moved by every opinion. You don't chase every invitation to explain yourself. You don't hand your peace to people who never knew what to do with it. Because something inside you has changed. You've become a sacred observer, not detached, not numb, just clear. You see things now as they are, not as your wounds would interpret them. You feel everything, but believe only what aligns. This is not coldness, this is maturity of the soul, and it shows in how your forehead stays soft, in how your shoulders don't rise with tension, in how your face holds calm even when your heart is breaking. People ask, why do you seem so composed? They think it's personality. But it's more than that. It's perspective. It's knowing that not everything deserves a reaction, that not every storm needs to be fought, that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is not participate. So you breathe, you step back, you observe, and in that space you reclaim yourself. You remember that your peace is your power, not your productivity, not your control, not your argument won, but the silence you refuse to surrender. You've stopped letting people pull you into spirals that go nowhere. You've stopped fixing things that were never yours to mend. And in doing so, you've become lighter, more fluid, more magnetic, because when you no longer resist life, life no longer resists you. This inner stillness, it's more than a feeling. It's a field. People enter it and feel calmer, more centered, more safe. You've become a lighthouse, not screaming, not chasing, just shining. And that light, it keeps you young, because stress is heavy, but peace floats. You don't carry the weight of every injustice anymore. You see it, feel it, pray for it, and still you choose serenity. That choice, to return to calm again and again, rewires your body. It softens your muscles, clears your skin, brightens your eyes. This is not spiritual bypass, it's spiritual depth. You haven't avoided pain, you've transmuted it, and what remains is grace. You've become the space others exhale into, the friend who doesn't escalate, but de-escalates, the energy that shifts the room without needing the spotlight. It's not that you don't feel, it's that you've stopped bleeding energy where it's not received. You've stopped defending your light to people committed to their darkness, and in that decision, you've become ageless, because tension wrinkles, chaos drains, but presence preserves. So if people tell you seem calm, wise, young for your age, just smile, because what they're really seeing is the absence of unnecessary battles. You've kept your softness by choosing your peace over your pride, and that choice is what keeps your soul clean, your energy clear, your body light. You are not fragile, you are focused, and in that stillness, you glow. And now, as your breath settles even deeper, we'll step into something even softer, the quiet power of kindness, not the kind that performs, but the kind that survives. Some people walk into a room and everything just feels lighter, not because they say much, not because they shine the brightest, but because their presence feels like a soft place to land. That's you, and you might not even know it. You've carried so much, and yet you never let it harden you. You've been hurt, and still you chose to stay kind. You've lost things, but never your willingness to love. And that is rare. We're told that the world is harsh, that you need to toughen up, protect yourself, expect less. But you kept your heart open. You didn't let pain become your personality. You didn't let betrayal make you bitter. You didn't let disappointment turn you into someone you're not. And that kind of kindness, the quiet kind, the grounded kind, it doesn't just feel good to others. It keeps you radiant, not in a glow you get from products way, but in a warmth that comes from within way. When you forgive often, when you choose empathy, when you let people go in peace, your body doesn't carry the weight of rage. Your jaw relaxes, your hands unclench, your breath deepens, and your face softens into something unmistakably alive. Kindness is not weakness. It's emotional intelligence. It's strength with softness. It's boundaries wrapped in compassion. You've learned how to say, I see your pain, but I won't let it become mine. You love deeply, but not destructively. You give generously, but not endlessly. You show up fully, but never lose yourself. And that balance, that grace, it reflects. There's something about people who've suffered in silence, but never lost their smile. They carry this tender wisdom. They don't rush to judge. They don't need to win. They don't speak just to be heard. They just are. And in their being, there's safety, peace, permission to soften. That's you. Your kindness has become your currency, not because it earns you love, but because it keeps your spirit light. You know what it's like to be misunderstood, to be used, to be left behind. But instead of becoming cynical, you chose to become conscious. You chose to turn inward, not away, to transform, not to retaliate. And now you walk through the world, not with armor, but with awareness. You don't need to defend your worth. You live it. You don't need to prove your goodness. You embody it. And that embodiment is what makes people pause around you. It's what makes your presence feel like rest, like refuge, like something they didn't know they needed until they felt it. So if you've ever questioned whether your kindness is seen, whether your forgiveness was worth it, whether your softness still matters in a world that can be so sharp, let this be your answer. Yes, it matters. It shows. It's saving you every single day. You don't age the way others do because your spirit is not weighed down by resentment. Your smile hasn't stiffened. Your laughter hasn't faded. Your light hasn't dimmed because you've made room for love to stay, even when it hurt, even when it was hard. And that choice, again and again, has carved a beauty into you that no mirror can measure. You are the kind of beautiful that doesn't seek attention. It just radiates, like warmth in winter, like sunlight on skin, like a safe feeling you can't quite describe. So when they say, you look so young, what they're really noticing is that you haven't let life take your light. You've kept it, tended it, guarded it, through storms and silence alike. And that light, it's eternal, so let your kindness keep leading, let it keep softening your body, freeing your mind, and lighting your path. Because true radiance isn't something you apply, it's something you allow. And now, we arrive at another turning point, not of softness, but of strength. The kind that flows, the kind that bends, the kind that never breaks. Change doesn't scare you, not the way it used to. You've learned life doesn't ask for permission. It arrives, it unravels, it rearranges everything you thought you could count on. And still, you're here, not broken, but reshaped. You've become someone who bends with the storm instead of bracing against it. You flow, you adapt, you move, not out of weakness, but wisdom, because you've seen what happens when you hold on too tight. You've felt the burn of clinging to what's already gone. You've lived through the ache of resisting what your soul was ready to receive. Now, you let go sooner. You shift faster. You trust deeper. Not because it's easy, but because it's true. You've become a dancer of change. And that rhythm, that ability to step into the unknown without losing your balance, it makes you radiant. You don't get stuck the way others do, not because you're unshaken, but because you let yourself move with the shaking. You know how to pause, to pivot, to surrender. You listen when life whispers, it's time to shift. And instead of asking why, you ask how. How can I move with this, not against it? How can I expand through this, not collapse under it? And in that willingness, you stay young. Because resistance ages us. It clenches the jaw, hardens the heart, tenses the body. But flow frees us. You've stopped needing to know the plan. You just need to feel the pull. And when the pull comes, you follow, even when it's scary. Even when no one else understands. Because something inside you trusts that life doesn't end when it changes. It begins. Again and again and again. You've become intimate with endings. You've said goodbye to versions of yourself that no longer served you. You've mourned timelines that never came to life, and still you rise. Lighter, clearer, more alive. Your adaptability is not accidental. It's ancestral, it's sacred, it's the muscle of the soul, learning how to stay soft in a shifting world. And people notice. They say you seem easygoing, but it's not about being casual. It's about being centered. You've stopped chasing stability in circumstances. You've started cultivating it in consciousness. So when chaos comes, you don't fall apart. You dance. Your eyes don't dart with fear. They scan with clarity. Your body doesn't tense. It sways. You don't freeze. You breathe. Because you've made peace with impermanence. You've let go of the illusion that things will stay the same if you just hold them tight enough, and in releasing that myth, you've made space for miracles. Your glow isn't just softness, it's movement, it's flow, it's presence without panic, and in that energy, your skin stays bright, your voice stays calm, your whole being says, I trust life, even when I don't understand it. That trust preserves you. So if you've been wondering why you still feel light after everything you've lived through, this is why. You're not just surviving, you're dancing, and that movement keeps your spirit and your body free. And just beyond that movement, beyond the grace of flow, comes something deeper, a fire, a calling, a quiet knowing that you weren't just made to adapt, you were made to serve. You didn't ask to be different, but you are. You've always known you see things others don't, feel things they brush past. Carry a kind of knowing that doesn't come from what you've read, but from something ancient inside you. You've always been the one people turn to when things fall apart, the calm voice in the chaos, the grounding hand when emotions swirl too fast. They call you wise. They say you give the best advice. But it's more than advice, isn't it? It's presence, it's permission, it's peace. There's something in you that makes people feel safe, not because you have all the answers, but because you hold space for the questions. That's not a coincidence, that's calling. You carry the light of the chosen, not chosen above others, but chosen for others, to anchor, to awaken, to remind. It's a sacred energy, and it's heavy sometimes. You felt it, the weight of being the strong one, the healer, the listener, the steady presence when no one else can be. And yet, you don't resent it, because deep down, you know it's who you are. Not a role you perform, but a truth you embody. You didn't become this light through ease. You became it through fire, through nights of loneliness, through decades of questioning, through breakdowns that no one saw and rebuildings that no one helped you with. You forged your presence in silence, and now you shine, not with glitter, not with noise, but with depth. People feel better just by being near you. They don't know why, but you do. It's because you've chosen love when hate would have been easier. You've chosen stillness when noise surrounded you. You've chosen truth when lies felt safer. And in doing so, you've become a transmitter of light. Not the light of perfection, the light of permissions, the kind of energy that says you don't have to fix yourself to be loved. You don't have to hide your pain to be seen. You're not alone in this. That message, spoken or unspoken, is why your energy feels timeless. You don't rush, you don't push, you don't chase. You attract, because truth always does. You've given up the need to be understood, and in doing so, you've become magnetic. You live for something more now, not status, not applause, but service. And that service, it sanctifies you. It preserves you. While others carry the tension of unmet ambition, you carry the peace of lived purpose. That peace softens your face, brightens your gaze, lightens your step. You walk like someone who belongs to something deeper, and that belonging, it shows. It shows in how people pause when you speak, in how they remember how they felt around you. You're not here to be impressive, you're here to be impactful, and your impact comes from your integrity, from your light, So if you've ever wondered, why do I feel like I'm on some kind of mission, even if I can't explain it? This is why. Because you are. And you always have been. Your light isn't for decoration, it's for direction, for healing, for remembering. So keep shining, keep serving, keep standing gently in the power that is yours. And when people tell you you seem different, ageless, like an old soul in a young body, know this. They're not just seeing your features, they're feeling your frequency. You don't age the way others do, because your soul has chosen alignment over approval. And in that choice, you stay free, you stay clear, you stay glowing. And now, as your light steadies and your purpose softens into peace, one final truth rises, the gift of wonder, of awe, of seeing the world not as a burden, but as a miracle. You still see magic, not the kind in stories, but the kind that lives in the corners of everyday life. You notice how sunlight rests on leaves like gold, how wind moves through trees like whispers, how a stranger's smile can shift your whole mood. You still look up at the stars and feel small, but not insignificant. You still cry at music that hits just right. You still pause at the scent of something familiar, and suddenly you're 5 years old again. That's wonder, and you've kept it. While others grew older and colder, you stayed open, not naive, not blind, just beautifully alive. You didn't let the world take your softness. You didn't let disappointment turn into cynicism. You chose awe. You chose beauty. You chose to keep seeing with your whole heart. And that decision, whether you made it once or every day since, is why your spirit feels so young. Because youth isn't a number, it's a way of seeing, it's laughing without holding back, it's letting wonder in without needing a reason, it's believing not in certainty, but in possibility. You've seen enough heartbreak to know how fragile joy can be, and yet you still reach for it, you still hope, you still believe there's more to this life than survival. And in doing so, you live differently, you speak gently, you listen fully. You move through the world as someone who hasn't forgotten how sacred it all is. And that remembering shapes you. It shapes how your body holds itself, how your eyes light up, how your smile forms, not from politeness, but from presence. Because you're not watching life from the outside. You're in it, feeling it, loving it, even when it's messy, even when it's uncertain, even when it hurts. And that kind of living, that depth of engagement, creates beauty, not surface beauty, soul beauty. People see it in you, even if they can't name it. They sense that being around you feels like permission to slow down, to notice more, to breathe deeper. You haven't outgrown wonder. You've grown into it. You've realized it's not childish to feel amazed. It's holy. It's healing. It's a kind of spiritual youth that nothing can wrinkle. So when people tell you you seem vibrant, joyful, glowing, what they're really seeing is the child within you who never stopped believing in the miracle of being alive. You still find joy in the simplest things. And in doing so, you keep life simple. You don't need big reasons to be grateful, you just are. And that gratitude is a kind of radiance the world can feel. It shows up in your skin, in your voice, in your quiet ability to make everything around you feel just a little more sacred. So keep wondering. Keep looking at the sky like it's the first time. Keep laughing like your soul is brand new. Because in that wonder, you stay timeless. You stay lit from the inside out. And when you live like that, life doesn't just happen to you. It dances with you. And that dance, that childlike, sacred, radiant joy, is the real reason why time has never truly touched you. So maybe the glow isn't just genetics. Maybe it's the legacy of how you've chosen to live, with grace, with softness, with a soul that never stopped singing. Let that be your truth now. You don't have to explain your radiance. Just keep embodying it. I honor the light within me. I'm still learning to wonder. My beauty lives in how I love, If any of those speak to you, write them below, or whisper them to yourself. Either way, your light is real, and we see you. Thank you for sharing this space, this breath, this journey. Stay gentle, stay glowing, stay you. We'll meet again where the wonder begins.